Hello YouTube and welcome to lesson 9 of the Premiere tutorial series. So I'm going to save this as lesson 9 as always, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to learn about the motion controls inside of Premiere Pro right here. So I'm going to delete this from my timeline right here, and then let's look at the motion controls, which is very interesting. So it actually lets me create small animations inside of Premiere Pro right here. So I got my video. So let's say, for example, I want 4 videos to play at once. So I'm going to drag this out right here in the layer. So let me just not set the in and out points. Let me just double click on this, set the in point and the out point, and then drag this on to the timeline just like this. Keep the settings. I'm going to do the same for this one. In and out point, and then drag this on here, then in and out point right here, in and out point, drag this onto the timeline. If I had not set the in and out point, then I could have directly went over there, but anyways, over here, let's go for in point and out point and drag this right onto the timeline. Alright, so now I have my 4 layers of the video right here, and what I want is I want to play them on the same space. So what I can do is I can use the motion settings right here. So as we saw last time, so what I can actually do is I can double click and resize the layer. So we did this with a picture, and what actually is here is that it is the motion effect on my video effect actually is active when I do this. So you can see that if I were to expand this, I'm going to move this, you can see that the value of the positions actually change. So if I were to keep this at the top, you can see the value almost reaches 0. So if I were to type in 0, 0, you can see the value actually reaches 0 right here. So but the value of the position is actually determined by the anchor point right here. So let's see how this works out. Just for the preview purposes on what these actually do. So I'm going to turn all of these just like this. And then I guess like that layer is not hiding for some reason. All right. So I'm going to select this out. So I'm going to, yeah, there you go. So now the layers are hidden. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the position. I can drag it just like this. And I can scale this out, scale up and down, just like this, scale up, scale down. I can choose a uniform scale as well. So now you can see that the scaling is actually not distorted. If I want to scale only one side, I can check off the uniform scale. Then I can change the width and just the height of the scale as well. I can change the rotation. And the rotation is actually based on the anchor point right here. So I can change the anchor point, just click and drag the anchor point, or I can change the anchor point from here, just like this, or I really prefer to drag it. So in the older version of Premiere, you are not actually allowed to do this, but this is actually a much more easier way. So if I were to just point anchor point to 0, 0, then it goes to the corner. And when I use the rotation from there, you can see that that point is actually used as a reference point. So if I were to scale it, that point is used as an access point again. So it depends on what kind of an effect you want and what kind of an animation you want. The motion settings is actually used very much for animations. So that is what I'm going to do right here and create a basic animation of the videos just like that. So just pressing Ctrl Z so that I go back to the beginning, just like that. All right, so I'm going to reset this. So if I want to reset any of the effect that I have over here, I can actually press on this reset effect button right here, and the video actually resets back onto this original format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it is all 50%. So this is going to be 50%. This is going to be 50%. All right. This is going to be 50% as well, so it's exactly the size. So I have all of these together. I'm going to scale this to frame size first and then scale it to 50%. All right, so I got my 4 videos right here. So what I can do is I can use the anchor point now in order to change this out. So let me do an anchor point of 0, 0, and what it does is it keeps the anchor point on the to the top left right here. So I'm going to select the second clip right now, and then instead of 0 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it at the end. So in order to keep it at the end, what I have to do is I have to change this. All right, so I'm going to change the anchor point just like this over here. So it's 1920 by 1080. So it's at the end, so a marker. This one is going to be 1920, I guess. So it goes to the side. This is gonna be 0. So this is gonna be 0. So it goes to the end right here. And then finally, this one at the end, anchor point from this side to this side. All right, so it's 720. So the anchor point is based on the number of pixels in the video footage itself. So you can see that the anchor point 0 0 means it's at the top left corner, right? So this is the top bar and this is the bottom bar. This is the side. This is the vertical alignment, and this is the horizontal alignment of the anchor point. So you can try that around. So now I have basically the 4 options just like that. And what I want to do is I want the video to actually zoom out just like that from the center. So I want that kind of an animation, so I am able to achieve that from the motion settings right here. So right about at this point, I want this animation to stay there. So I'm going to add in a keyframe like we learned in the last lesson. So I'm going to make sure to add in a keyframe in position, and I'm going to add in to scale, and that's it. All right, actually I just need scale right here. So I'm going to remove the position, and it actually asks me. So I'm going to go over to scale and make sure that the first part. So what I can actually do while adding keyframes is that I can go to the end and add keyframes and then return back to an earlier point in timeline and then change in the value over there. So I'm going to go over here, keep the value to 100. So I better not do that actually right now because I only set the keyframe to this place right here. So I want to make sure that the keyframe is set at the same place. So I'm going to click this value. So the timeline is actually arranged over here. I'm going to click all of these and the effect is not shown. So I have to do this individually then. So I'm going to add in keyframe to scale right over here, keyframe to scale and keyframe to scale. All right. And then go at the beginning and then press 0, press 0, 0, and 0. So the scale actually goes from 0 to 0, and if I were to play this, you can actually see that there's a constant zoom level going on right there. So this is how the effect actually looks like. So the 4 of the layers are actually going individually right there. And what I can actually do is I can change the timing of these, but just by moving this to the side, just like this, so that all of the effects do not show up all at once. So I'm going to drag this just like this and drag this just like this. So this gives an interesting animation actually. So this is much more better. You can actually do these kind of things just like that. So this is actually how it looks like inside a Premiere Pro when you use motion. So I can also add in an ease in at the end and then use the graph. Let me just zoom this in a bit. I'm going to add ease into this and then scale this out, drag this just like this. I'm going to use scale ease in right here and then drag this out just like this. I'm going to scale this in just like this, and then I'm going to use scale in ease in just like this, and then I'm going to drag this out just like this, and then I'm going to scale this in just like this, and then drag it out just like this. All right, so this is how the final effect actually looks like, and you can see that the effect looks awesome. So hope you guys learned something as always, and as always, please like, comment, share and subscribe.